All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our next iteration of our transition series, training series. This is my very good friend, Lori Miracle, and she is going to chat with us about LinkedIn today. So I will just pass it over to you, Lori.
All right. Thank you, Eileen. I am sharing my screen here. Hopefully I share the right window. All right, so you should be able to see my LinkedIn page. Perfect. And then next to that, I am going to pull up the handout that I put together, and Eileen is going to drop that, I think, in the chat or by email. She's going to drop that in the chat, and that is the basics of what we're going to go over today. So just to introduce myself, my name is Lori Miracle. I am accredited in public relations. I work in communications, strategic communications, marketing, and public relations. That has been my career. I currently work for the city of Gig Harbor. Prior to that, I worked for the Washington Grain Commission, which was wheat and barley under the Department of Agriculture. Prior to that, I was with the State Chamber of Commerce, and then I started my career at Washington State University, working in human resources. So I did recruiting functions, support for human resource for Washington State University, and then I jumped into my career in communications with the College of Pharmacy. And so I've been in health sciences, education, um, business, marketing, promotions, and then back to state agency, now at local government. But social media has been an element of my career since the beginning. And so that's why I said that I would be happy to talk with you guys today. So I am just going to jump right in. So the purpose of LinkedIn, this is essentially your online resume. Recruiters use it every day. It's a very great networking tool. There are some basic elements that we're going to go through. I've got some hot tips on the handout. This is just one tool, and honestly, I don't necessarily know if it'll be the most valuable for landing a job, but the networking capabilities of LinkedIn are really fantastic, really able to leverage you being able to connect with your friends of friends kind of thing. But it is important that you get the basics covered. So a toe in the door stays there, and that anybody, I mean, you do make it to a final recruiting stage for a job, very likely they will at least take a glance at your LinkedIn profile. So jumping right in, first is your profile photo. And it is important to have a clear, professional, approachable headshot photo. You don't necessarily have to have a professional photo, but something simple, something dressed as you would for the job that you are doing or that you want to do. And most importantly, a clean background. There are some AI tools that will take a selfie and turn it into a professional headshot. Some of those are do a very good job. Some of them look a little hokey. It's completely up to you, but something that shows yourself with a clean background will cover the basics. The background banner is also something that helps immediately tell a little bit of describes who you are, where you come from. So something nature, city, or neutral background if you don't have a branded graphic. I have not actually updated my LinkedIn page in a while, so this is actually a photo that I took while I worked for the Grain Commission, Eastern Washington wheat fields, and the river. Um, and I have my thing minimized, Eileen. So if there are any questions, if you guys have questions, you can throw them in the chat or just shout at me. And Eileen, you can let me know too if there's a question.
That sounds good.
Okay, so moving right along, we've got profile photo, background banner. The next is your headline. So that is this line that appears right below your name. And if you don't do anything customized with this, it defaults to whatever your job title is. That's very common. But the headline does pull the search. The LinkedIn search will hit on the headline, so it's nice to drop some keywords into what this is. And so in the handout, I made some LinkedIn Mad Libs to just make it really simple. I was told once that you want to think of 3 things for your headline. And so I've got strategic communications leader, storyteller, builds bridges between people, policy, and purpose. In my Mad Libs, it's job title plus a specialty, or job title plus a career goal, or maybe a skill plus an impact. So for SNAP-Ed, it could be SNAP-Ed coordinator, aspiring public health educator, kind of a thing. And that will put some keywords really top what in the news we'd call above the fold for the search. So in the handout, I've got some space for you to try your own. And then next is the about section. So I'm going to scroll down here. And the about section is essentially your elevator pitch. Employers are going to read this to see your personality, motivation, and direction. The really easy Mad Lib part, there's 3 basic structures: who you are, your current role, your background, what you do well, so that's your skills, passion areas, and then where you're going or aspire to go in your career. So it's important to phrase this in the first person and use active voice. So that's gonna be the most engaging. So my template for you is I am, and then you list your role experience. I have with a passion for your cause or field. In my work with program organization, I've developed skills in, XYZ. I enjoy, list your specific tasks or values that drive you. And I'm excited to continue growing in list a field or your career goal where I can contribute to your stated impact. So that is listed in the handout, but and you can see that mine pretty much follows that same structure. Any questions on that so far?
I was wondering if you could zoom in on that.
Oh,
The
yeah,
text is
yeah.
pretty small.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I used ChatGPT and I gave it the SNAP-Ed website and I asked it to write an example for me. For you guys, I put that in the example, but I'm a SNAP-Ed coordinator with a passion for improving community health in my work with nutrition education programs. I've developed skills in program delivery, outreach, and partnership building. I enjoy working with families to make healthy choices accessible. I am excited to continue growing in public health where I can contribute to healthier communities. So pretty effective framework there.
I do have a question on that.
Yeah.
So what if you're interested in kind of like breaking into something that you haven't necessarily done before? How can you kind of like frame the skills that you have to sort of branch out a little bit more, I guess?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really good question. And I would say that in most cases with my recruiter hat on, you can train skills. You want to look for character, soft skills fit. So if you're looking to break into a new industry per se, you would focus on those universal skills: communication, learning mindset, growth mindset, adaptability, ability to deal in a fast-paced world, learn new tasks quickly, communication skills, interpersonal skills, self-motivation. I would put those top of mind, and then include some language on interested in learning new things, branching out into new technologies or industries. Does that
Yes,
sound
that
helpful?
is, yeah, big time. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, those kinds of skills, you guys have a lot of amazing skills that will directly or indirectly transfer. And then, like I said, most things you can teach, but those soft skills are things that are going to be universal in all jobs and industries. Okay, so experience and skills is kind of the next section I want to cover. So for tips on experience, use action verbs and highlight impacts and outcomes. This is keep it concise, resume style. The nice thing about LinkedIn is it does allow you to attach PDFs or link to other external websites. So I'm a communicator. I've published articles. So I've linked to a couple. On one of them, this Drink Local, I think I actually attached a PDF. So that's something that ran in a magazine that I was a creative director for. It's got a very basic description. And really, if I wanted to showcase this, I should add to this description that this article and infographic actually won a Hermes Creative Award. So that would be a really great thing to list on that as well. When you're looking at adding descriptions to this, it's just this little edit icon in the corner, and then you can edit each one. So on this one, I could go in here. Oh, very easy to update and apply, save. And there it is. There is, oh, I wonder if it's, oh, this is one thing of note, this Notify network. If you make any updates to your experience, whatever, I have this toggled off. So any updates that you make are just gonna appear on your profile. It's not gonna do anything else. But if you toggle this on, when you hit save, it will make an announcement to your network that's, hey, you've updated your profile. So that's whether or not you want to broadcast that update or not, that's up to you. I'm gonna discard that. Okay. So again, for descriptors, and I actually don't have any descriptors of my jobs on here, but it's what you did for what audience, resulting in what outcome. And that's a pretty basic resume style example. So for a SNAP-Ed, one of the examples was delivered nutrition education programs to over 150 community members, or 50 people on a Zoom call, increasing awareness of health, meal planning, and budgeting. So keeping it short and punchy. And then down at the end, you can see I've got a couple other links. The nice thing with including links, it will pull in whatever image from that link, just like a news article in Facebook or Instagram. So that's really nice. Okay, so that is the basics on experience. Go back to my okay, you'll list your education. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about was skills and endorsements. So recommend that you come out here down to the skills and add 5 to 10 relevant skills that are aligned with the kind of roles that you're looking for. So skills like Napoleon Dynamite, recruiters are looking for applicants with skills. But for SNAP-Ed, some examples would be program coordination, nutrition education, community outreach, workshop facilitation, public speaking, volunteer management, health promotion, and event planning. Just a couple examples. And the really great thing, once you get your skills posted, your network can come onto your profile and endorse you for those skills. So that's like a third-party validation to the external people looking. So if everybody on this call goes out to your work network and you endorse each other for the skills that you add to your profile today, then that is going to give you a wonderful foundation that shows external recruiters that not only you say that you have the skill, but your network is also vouching for you. So, yeah, so that's really easy to add. You just go to the plus button. It gives you some suggestions. You can put in your own. You hit save and then they're out here. And then your friends can come and endorse you. Okay. I think that wraps up most of the basic sections. LinkedIn will you kind of walk through putting just adding information basic. It's better to have a little bit in there than nothing, and you can always it's always a work in progress and you're always evolving, just like you're always updating your resume. So even a simple draft makes your profile stand out more than leaving it blank. The other thing I wanted to go through is the job search tool. So up here in the top over, if you click on jobs, the first thing that you can do is under preferences, you can turn on open to work. And that is a little filter that swipes on your profile picture that says open to work. You can turn that on and off here. You can manage your job alerts here, but you create them just in a search, and it's really easy to create that. So if you want to start, I do have a job alert on here that is communications director. So what I can do, I'll delete this and I'll walk you through making a new one. So you just, in the search, you can tell that you put in the type of job and role that you are looking for. So my last search, I was looking for a communications director position. I wanted to stay in Washington. I wanted remote work options. Search, here's my list on the left, and then down here at the bottom where it says get job alerts for the search, you just turn that on and your job alert was created. And it's that easy. So you don't have to do that for every search, but if you find a search refine that you like the types of jobs that are coming up in the search, you can create a job alert. You can also go to a specific job. Say if I I'm like, oh, director, corporate communications, Paylocity. I really like this company. I really like this type of job. It should also let you build, you can save this and it should let you make a job alert based off of that position. But okay. That is the basics of job alerts, job search, open to work. That pretty much wraps up all the stuff that I wanted to go through. And I guess I would say your homework would be based on what we've gone through. If you could just update 2 sections in your LinkedIn profile, a headline about, or even adding some of the experience, then that will get you one step up further. So I would love to open it up to questions if any of you have questions. I'm also happy to share some other insights on some of the job searching that I have done in the past, or any of my on the recruiter side insights I have.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I do not have a LinkedIn account at all. Who should we be trying to add to our network? Is it just people we've worked with? Is it like friends? Is it mainly peers, colleagues? Is it people we want to work with?
Yes. Yes. So start with your current coworkers, people you've worked with in past roles. My recommendation for looking for jobs, I follow the people that I have really enjoyed working with in the past. I follow them on LinkedIn, and if they ever share a job opening or a job posting to their network, that is one of the first job post links that I will look at. I have gotten interviews with companies from doing that. Because in a first interview, they say, how did you learn about this job? You can say, well, I follow my, colleague worked with so-and-so, really respected and loved working with them, saw that they shared this job opportunity online, and here I am. And I, looking at your company, then you launch into your elevator pitch. So going out and thinking about the organizations, the types of jobs that you would get you really excited, what industries you want to work in, following those companies on LinkedIn, and then connecting with people within those organizations is a really great way to expand your network. But friends of friends is always a really great place to start. That's the bread and butter of professional networks. So
Lori, can you explain what the difference on LinkedIn about connect and follow? I noticed that like I can connect with somebody or I can follow them. I mean, I think I can do both, but I don't know what the difference is.
oh, sure. Yeah. So LinkedIn has different levels, and you can even you can go through validation on LinkedIn. So you get a little check mark that you are who you say you are. So when you connect with people, it's like friending people on Facebook. You become friends, but you can also follow them. So they've got their profiles, and then they can also be content creators on LinkedIn as well. So you don't necessarily need to be connected with someone who has a large following or a large presence to follow what they're doing and follow the content that they're putting out. So if a CEO really wants to exemplify themselves as a thought leader. Maybe they will make efforts to regularly post op-ed style articles on their LinkedIn page. And that's the kind of content that you can follow. And then as you connect with people, those are more of people in your network that you know or know of them, where you can follow, like you have more opportunity to reach out to them and communicate them, direct message them directly on the platform if you're connected. Sometimes you don't get that option if you just follow someone. Does that help?
It does. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And before the call, I was talking with Eileen a little bit on using the job search. And the LinkedIn job search is something that I have used extensively in the past looking for jobs, but I usually would not, me personally, I don't usually do the click to apply through LinkedIn to a job. I will usually use it as a way to find opportunities, and then I will go directly to that organization's website and apply for the job through their own platform. Most jobs that they will have an official posting either through however they manage job postings, whether they have a Paylocity or a Workday account, or maybe they're using Indeed, or you can manage job postings through LinkedIn. But all of the times that I've been a recruiter posting jobs, it's mostly just as an informational, here's the job posting, but you need to go to this other website to apply. So I feel like my chances are always better if I go straight to the source and go to their platform to apply. So I use LinkedIn mostly as just searching through the want ads, looking at the listings. So yeah, I will also say as a professional communications person, I am experimenting and researching ChatGPT. And I will also say that ChatGPT is really good at writing resumes. Throw that out there. Have used that in the past. You put the job posting in there and your current resume, and you tell it to customize. You, of course, have to proofread everything that you put into ChatGPT, but Deanne, you have a question?
I do. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, do you feel it is of value to opt for the premium level in LinkedIn versus the free level?
That's a very good question. As a recruiter, I've definitely seen the value of that. I have not personally paid for premium, but many of my colleagues do. And I believe you do get extra visibility and perks through the job search functions if you do that. I think it just depends on the level of aggressiveness you want to take with LinkedIn as a tool.
Okay, and then since I know you were focused on LinkedIn today, and I apologize to Eileen if you've talked about other engines to use while looking for jobs.
Oh, yeah.
What's the top 3 that are effective?
Oh, geez. Well, for me, I use LinkedIn. I have done Indeed job search alerts before. Indeed is probably not as useful as LinkedIn. I have also used Ladders as a platform to look for job postings. Again, the benefit of LinkedIn for me is that I can follow my network and follow their companies and see when their companies have openings. I feel like that is, for me, it puts me 1 degree of separation closer to that recruiter than an Indeed or Ladders, or there's a whole bunch of other ones. The other thing that I will recommend and have been was recommended to me from a professional recruiter is if you have specific companies that you really love or are very interested in working for them, go onto their company website and see if they have a employment section where you can subscribe to job alerts from that organization directly. And I would say that would be better than a LinkedIn job alert, because you're really focusing in on the organizations that you want to work for, and that gives you first notice when they post new jobs. So I have done that with Washington State University allows that, PNNL, any kind of those larger organizations usually will have a system, Microsoft, where you can get job alerts directly from them. I hope that helps. We were mostly focused on LinkedIn today, but I hope that
Yeah.
helps.
I think those things help, maybe are more in the application of when you have a job and then you're sort of looking for a job to see what might come down the road. Whereas it feels like our situations now are get her done.
Right. Yeah. So when I when I made the jump from WSU over to the State Chamber of Commerce, I was actively looking for a job probably for about a year and a half. And I had my LinkedIn job alert. You can set that to be either daily or weekly. And then I had my Indeed, and if I got a ping from a direct organization, I would address that first. But I would, just like I would be trying to, my goal was 3 applications a week. And if I got at least 3 applications in a week, I felt like I was still being active and doing my best to be proactive. And in the environment, you just have to be prepared for a lot of ghosting, be prepared for a lot of rejection. But once you do get a bite, if it is serious, it usually goes pretty fast. So, and I would also say if you get an opportunity to interview, even if it's not an organization that is like your top choice, absolutely take the interview, because it is good practice and it will prepare you for when the organization that you really, really, really want to work for comes along. You'll be better prepared. You'll have practiced your talking points, all of that. Savannah.
Yes, okay, I have 2 questions. Let's see if I can remember them both. Okay, so first one is I do think of LinkedIn as like my extension of my resume, I think kind of like you mentioned earlier. And on my resume, I do like to have a little section for like my hobbies and interests, kind of especially because I'm like not necessarily interested, like, oh, I really want to stay in this lane, right? And so I have a lot of excellent soft skills and I like that are very transferable, and hard skills I can learn. I can learn any program, blah, blah, blah. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on like adding anything about hobbies and interests, because I want to make sure that like I don't know, kind of like my personality comes through on it, kind of, because I've done hiring and a lot of it is like that kind of fit, right? The other skills can be taught, but you have to be the right fit for the role. So I'm just curious, like, what thoughts you have on like how to convey who I am and like what kinds of things I might be the right fit for. Or, and
Absolutely.
right, like what might be the right fit for me. It goes both ways.
Yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely. And that is a very good point. Like when you are job searching, it is the employer is looking for the applicants that they like the best, and you are also looking for the employers that you like the best. So yes, I love the way you said that. Yeah, I think that adding interests, causes, hobbies, they've got sections here to add interests. Companies, group, and causes that you're interested in. You can add those directly in a section. You can also add that if you have a dedicated hobby that you've been doing for a really long time that could potentially be a transferable skill, you can add it as experience in an experience section if you want. You can also add it to your about me section as well. And in that situation, just like with the job experience, you would list what it is, how it's relatable, and if there is an outcome that it ties to, list that in the little description on the experience piece. But yeah, especially on those soft skills when you're trying to portray yourself as someone who's very transferable, that kind of stuff can really help showcase who you are as a person and how your character could fit.
Okay, dope. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you. My second question. Okay, so I have lots of interests, lots of jobs that I might want to explore, and I kind of want to do a little bit of everything. And I find it, I kind of struggle using the like job search features because like I want to do all of the things. And I feel like, oftentimes when I try to search things that are maybe like related to things I've done or related to things I might want to do, I feel like I kind of just come up with a lot of like medical establishments. And I am not sure how to sort of hone that in, especially given that my interests are so wide.
Yeah. Can you give me some, well, so I have a couple recommendations. One, I would say, pick a industry or a topic for like your LinkedIn job search so that all of your weekly job listing that you get emailed from LinkedIn or Indeed or whatever platform is focused on that one thing. And then on LinkedIn, your second platform, pick your second top most interested industry so that you've got on each search, it's focused on one thing. So you get an email report. Here's all the service jobs that I'm looking for. LinkedIn is going to send me all of the nutrition education jobs I'm looking for. Does that make sense? Where you've got to kind of categorize them, and then you can
Hmm.
also do more than one job search alert. That I think LinkedIn will let you do multiple job search alerts. So I would recommend that. And then the second part of that question, I would say it sounds like a nonprofit industry might be a good broad category to look at, and then honing in on the specific kinds of service industries. It says it's pulling medical, so I would, to me that feels like it's like helping people oriented, and so that might,
Yes, that's
yeah,
yeah. That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, because a lot of my history, like my entire like adult working life has been like at nonprofits and like working to support like adults with disabilities and things like that. So I guess that would make sense for why it sort of leans towards that. And I always want to be in like helping people type roles, but not in a medical sense.
sure,
And so I've had a hard time sort of steering it out of that for some reason.
yeah.
Um,
Well, you could also look at local government or state government, state agency, those
mm,
types of like the Washington careers.wa.gov. That's, I feel like state agency, nonprofit, that's all a little bit more service oriented than straight commercial or retail industries. So
mhm.
that might be a good additional job search that you can set up as well. Because if you think about under the state of Washington, there's Department of Transportation, but then there's also Health and Human Services, Department of Health. There's all these different flavors of state service. So um, honing in on what you get most excited about and focusing on those agencies specifically will help kind of hone your search.
Okay, cool. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Great questions. This has been so wonderful. Thank you, guys. Any other questions out there?
So Lori, for some of us, for me, if I don't want so much personal information on here for everybody to see, what's the minimum that you should put on there in order to be effective?
Sure. I would say minimum would be your photo, profile photo. If you have a photo, I don't remember what it was, like 40% more likely for your profile to be viewed. Your headline and your about me section. I would say those are your three basic. You've got those. If you're not comfortable putting your whole work history out there, you don't necessarily have to have all of your experience listed resume style, but I would say that the headline, about, and then some of the skills, the basic skills that you list, those are more of like keyword tags. And so if sorry about my back and forth here, but down here, if you've got some skills listed, you've got some keywords in your about me and your headline, that I would say is the basic. And there are some security settings, and you have to excuse me while I am bumbling my way. There are some ways that you can control who sees what out here in your visibility. You can set who, if you want your whole page to be visible to the whole world, you can set it as public. You can lock it down so, you know, just like it on Facebook too, like only your friends can see you, only people who are connected to you can see certain details. And that is all controlled through this page here, so on visibility. So you can be very basic and keep it limited, or you can put some more out there and then use the controls to say who can like who can find my email address, who but I say you can't see my phone number. That's the kind of thing that you can control. You can also control who can ask to connect with you on this as well. Does that help?
It does. So just as a follow-up, as a recruiter, are you more like, oh, sorry, excuse me. Are you more likely to follow up with someone who has just the minimum? Or, because to me, it's like, are you just using online stuff, or do companies still want the paper resume and paper cover letter?
Sure. I would say if you are applying to a job through a job portal, that they're going to want your resume, your cover letter, the standard things. If you are trying to make yourself visible to a recruiting, like a recruiter who works at a recruiting agency, like they're going out and looking for, they're helping companies find qualified pools of candidates. So those are the kinds of people that you want to be able to search and find your profile. The more specific examples of your work and your skills that you feel comfortable putting out there, the more likely they're going to be able to identify how you match the jobs that they're hired to fill. So that's a balance of your comfort level. And that's why I said, even if you don't list all of your previous experience, maybe you list just your current job and that's it. Or you don't have any of your experience listed, but you have a pretty robust list of skills that you tag. So then a recruiter who comes by your page will at least have some basic information. Usually, if you meet a certain set of criteria for a recruiter through LinkedIn, they will try to send you a direct message or connect with you, and then send you a direct message to flesh out further questions to see if you would be a good candidate or not. That has been my experience with dealing with recruiters on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's all up to your comfort level. So okay, well, just giving anybody some additional space to ask any questions. I will say that my last job search took me about 18 months for me personally. And I interviewed with five, maybe 5 or 6 companies during that time. So it was a lot of uh, form email rejections, but keep your head up because you will find a good fit. So yeah.
Or this is not LinkedIn related, but as you're talking about your experience with doing job searching and acceptance and rejection, and if you get a rejection email, like I've gotten some from like state agencies, but it comes from a person,
Sure.
is it appropriate to write back and say like, hey, you have any feedback for me about how I can do better next time around?
Absolutely. If you got a person, I felt so special when I actually got a person to respond to me and say, thank you. We acknowledge the time that you put into this, but we're not moving forward. I think that is absolutely something that you can do in a professional way, and especially if they recognize that you have some value as a candidate, but you just weren't the right fit for them. I have done that. I've connected with recruiters on LinkedIn from rejections as far as like, hey, thank you. Um, I applied with the state parks once, had an interview with them. It just it just wasn't a good fit. As far as my skills, what they were actually looking for, I completely understood that. They were wonderful people. We connected on LinkedIn because I was like, hey, you never know, if you have another job opening, then I'll be able to, or if they know of an agency that has a job, they can then it's easier for them to connect with you in the future to refer you. So yeah, I think that that's definitely something that you can leverage if you get that opportunity to connect with a person in a recruitment. All right. Any other questions? We've got just 10 minutes left, so yeah. Well, thank you again for inviting me. This was wonderful.
Thank you. We really,
You
really
guys,
appreciate it.
yeah, you guys had some really great questions, and hopefully the handout is helpful. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Please feel free to share the handout if you want, if you think that's helpful. Um, yeah, and good luck. Keep your heads up. I mean, you will find a good fit. So
I
Thank
have one
you.
last question.
yeah.
Would you be open to us connecting with you and asking for feedback on our profiles?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
be awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just last night connecting with Eileen. My In my work, we've got some big news that I am coordinating through the end of this week, but into next week I have a lot more availability. But yes, absolutely, feel free to reach out. Happy to help in any way that I can. So yeah.
How much time does it take to set up an account or a profile?
Oh, it can take as little as just a couple minutes, and then it can take as long as you want to put into it. And I would say that the value of a profile that you'll get out is, I mean, you'll get out what you put in. Be thoughtful about, I mean, and it depends on your comfort level, but keeping it concise and clear and punchy will be effective. And again, ChatGPT, if you give it some good parameters, it's really good at if you ask it to give you some recommendations on categories, it'll give you a list. If you put in the Mad Libs, tell it to complete the sentence for me, it's really good at that. And then my other AI hack is that when you put in a prompt, ask it what questions it has for you before it starts. It will vastly improve the answer that you get. So, off topic hot take right at the very end.
Can you say that again? Ask 'cause I'm not super familiar with ChatGPT. Ask it what questions it has for you. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
here, this is like a standard prompt that I'm going to put this in the chat. What questions do you have before you start? So that is something I put at the bottom of a lot of my longer prompts, because usually it will usually ask you what audience you're trying to talk to, what tone you want it to take, whether you want it to be professional, approachable, casual. It will give you a list of questions, and you talk back and forth to it before it starts, and it vastly improves the quality of the answer it gives you. And for me, I found that it drastically reduces the number of iterations I have to put in to get what I want out of it. So yeah, that changed my prompting world to just ask it. And yeah.
And you do that after you prompt it. So you put in, this is what I want you to do, and then you say, now, do you have any questions? I've never used it either.
You have to put it in at the bottom of your original prompt.
Okay,
so that
yeah.
it doesn't start working on your question.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So you put it all in your prompt, you put that at the end of the prompt, and then it'll say, hey, thanks, here's the questions that I have for you. And and it's getting better now that usually at the bottom it will even try to predict what you might need next. And so it'll be like, here's a list of categories. Do you want me to put this in an about you statement? And they'll be like, oh yeah, that is what I want. So
Okay.
And then again, make sure that you review, proofread, make sure it's accurate, everything that you put into ChatGPT. Yep. But it can be a really powerful tool to help cut down on the time that it takes for you to, yeah. So you could take sections of your experience from your jobs, from your resume, put those into ChatGPT and say, write this in a concise format for LinkedIn. It'll save you a lot of time. Yep.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, but then I'd also want it to sound like me. Like
Yeah, and then so
the
it'll spit something
wording.
out, and then you proofread it, you edit and change it for whatever you actually put into LinkedIn. You make it sound like you. Yeah, I use it as a initial outline, first draft, and then I edit from there.
Okay. That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll be respectful of your guys' time. Thank you again for the invitation, and I look forward to hearing from you guys and watching your success on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, thank you.